During the cold time of the year, pathways in the garden can become worn down and wet, and this can open the soil up for a higher risk of compaction, and they can be a little bit more slippery or a little bit more dangerous to walk on, right? Especially when they thaw. But the stalks of certain plants that are slow to biodegrade can be a great option to put on top of these surfaces to make them easier and safer to walk on, and also to provide more of a cushion on the soil surface and help to reduce compaction. Additionally, plants in the Helianthus genus, like the sunflowers and sunchokes, can also produce allelopathic chemicals that can kill off certain other plants, maybe some common weeds, that may try to come up in these pathways. Alright, so here we have a pathway. I'm going to put some sunchokes down here, and I mean the sunchoke stalks, and that will help to supply as a mulch, act as a buffer from the ground for all the foot traffic that's there, especially this time of the year when it gets super cold and then we have thaws. It really kind of makes the ground a little bit more fragile. So in the high-use pathways in a garden, especially ones that aren't immediately up against a planting area, could be a good option to use some of this plant biomass to help protect the soil and to help prevent the overgrowth or growth of certain plants that you might not want to be there. For example, one year I tried to companion plant sunchokes and squash together, and that did not work out well, particularly for the squash. The sunchokes had no problem. But even though I tried to plant the squash in a sunny position along with the sunchokes, it just didn't grow very well. The leaves turned yellow and the plants ultimately died prematurely and never really produced any fruit. Alright, so sunchoke plants can have some allelopathic qualities. I'm not sure if it's only the green biomass or if the dead biomass also has some residual allelopathic compounds hanging around, but if so, they might make a good pathway cover at certain paths in the garden, especially during the colder months when it gets rainier and wet, and during that time of the year when the plants aren't growing as much, the soil tends to hold a lot more moisture, especially with these changes in temperatures from freezing to thawing. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to harvest these sunchoke stalks. Sometimes they can have some allelopathic qualities on certain plants like corn or wheat. So this row of sunchokes has already been harvested through. It's just the dry stalks that are left. So I'm going to go ahead and collect a bunch of these stalks. I may pull from other rows too. I haven't harvested the other rows yet. I may just clip those stalks off then, and then harvest the tubers a little later. So adding fresh or dried biomass of sunflowers or sunchokes may help to prevent the growth of weeds in pathways, or at least that's what I'm trying to test right now. about in the middle of winter right now, so I'm not sure how strong those allelopathic compounds are, or if they've already kind of begun to biodegrade. But not many other plants are really growing right now this time of the year anyway. Alright, so I hope you enjoyed this video. The wintertime can be a great time of year to get out into the garden and protect some of those pathways, right? If you don't want to use certain allelopathic species, you can also use others that aren't allelopathic. You know, like evening primrose, parsnips, things of that nature, right? You just want to be careful about the seed heads, that you're not spreading seeds in areas where you don't want them to be. So maybe you cut the seed heads off and then you use the rest of the plant to kind of mulch over that pathway. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and I look forward to seeing you in a future video. Take care.